So I have some multiple choice questions and some theory question. So when I finish a playlist, so each topic in biology is unique. So I always create a playlist for each topic. So when I finish a playlist, I always give an exam style question so you can use it to refresh your mind and um and just have a clear understanding of what we've learned. Okay, so in this aspect, all you need to do is to pause the video, answer the question while I give my own correct answer, so you can use that to revise. Okay, so this multiple choice questions is under the concept of living things. So I had a playlist on concept of living things where I give characteristics of living things, relationship between living things and non-living things. Okay, so under the playlist, when you watch all the videos, you watch this video just to refresh your mind and be able to answer some questions under the topic. So, which of the following is a characteristics of living things? To have freezing, respiration, rusting, and melting. So, for you to be living, you have to what respire. So, respiration is the answer. So, which process enables living things to produce offspring? So, that is reproduction, not excretion, not nutrition, not respiration. So, it's reproduction. Okay, so which is not a living thing? You have dog, you have grass, you have a rock, you have bacteria. So and the rock, rock is is a non-living thing. So rock they don't breathe, they don't reproduce and do those important things that living things tend to do. So movement of a sunflower towards sunlight, movement of sunflower, like I explained, if you watch this video, assuming there's sunlight, plant tend to move towards sunlight, they bend towards sunlight. So movement of the sunflower towards sunlight is called diffusion, respiration, excretion. So you see photo, phototropism as the answer. Tropism, it has to do with response. Photo has to do with light. Okay, so which process remove waste from the body? So we have nutrition, no. We have growth, no. Excretion, sensitivity, no. The answer is what? Excretion. So excretion is the removal of unwanted substance from the body. Response to stimuli is called growth. Stimuli, like for example, if I pierce your skin, you respond very fast. What is it called? Is it growth? No. Sensitivity? Maybe. Respiration? No. Movement? No. The answer is sensitivity. Okay. So, which is a non-living thing? Fish, water, mushroom, bird. Water is a non-living thing. Which pair contains only living things? You have rock and water, they're both non-living things. You have goat and mango tree, they're both living things. And air and soil, not a living thing. Glass and plastic, not a living thing. Okay. Living things obtain food by evaporation, no. Nutrition, yes. Condensation, no. Rusting, no. A similarity between living and non-living things is they both reproduce. This has to do with living and non-living things. How are they similar? They both reproduce, no. They both breathe, no. They both have mass. They both have mass. Yes. Very good. So just some theory question to ask you, okay, how do you define a living thing? So a living thing is any organism that can carry out life processes. Very important. This carry out you see living things are just things that have life in them. How? So they carry out life processes such as your growth, respiration, reproduction, and excretion. Okay. So two, state eight characteristics of living things. So we have movement, respiration, nutrition, growth, and excretion. Okay, you also have reproduction, sensitivity, and death. All living things tend to what? To die. Okay, so the next one, state five characteristics of non-living things. So they do not grow biologically. Non-living things does not grow. They do not reproduce. They do not respire. They do not excrete. They do not respond to stimuli. All right. Differentiate between living and non-living things using 6 points. So living things grow, while non-living things do not. Living things they respire, non-living things do not. They reproduce, excrete. So this can do, this cannot, this can do, this cannot. So living things needs food, non-living things don't need food. So just kind of like a straightforward answer. State five similarities between living and non-living things. So they both have mass, they both occupy space, they both can be affected by heat, both can undergo change. Explain why viruses are difficult to classify as non-living as living or non-living things. So they're quite tricky because viruses are difficult to classify because they show both living and non-living characteristics. This means when they are found, when they are found, they reproduce inside living cells and replicate to cause infection, but remain inactive outside the cell. So which means if they get to a living cell, they reproduce, they replicate and reproduce to give rise to start causing what a lot of damages. But when they get to a non-living cell or outside the living cell, sorry, for example, like your table, your chair, they remain non-living. But once they get to a living cell, they become living. So very dangerous organism. Explain growth in living things. So living things grow by increasing the number and size of cells. So when they increase the cells, they tend towards to reproduce. So for example, when the organism is still very juvenile, when the cell starts undergoing what they call cell division, you start giving rise to what, to different organs, different systems, different structure. Then you start having those structures you have in your body as you tend to become more mature. And growth is irreversible. You cannot go back to the way you were before. Describe nutrition, respiration, and excretion in living organism. So nutrition is the process by which living things obtain and use food for energy and growth. Respiration, the process of releasing energy from food. Then excretion, the removal of waste products from the body. So respiration, respiration, apart from releasing energy from food, when you eat food, apart from that, you can say, well, this is the exchange of gases, taking of air, taking of oxygen, and giving out carbon dioxide out. Okay, so that's still one other thing you need to understand for respiration. So then explain the importance of sensitivity in living things. So they detect why they important. They detect changes in the environment. So, for example, if you're in the place and the place is very cold, you sensitive to that cold. Then you go to a place that is warmer. That's why you can see seasonal migration in different organisms. So you can see birds, they can migrate to a new place when things change. So they do this to avoid danger. They need to find food, find mates, they find a peri partner for them to reproduce, and they tend to what, to survive. So give 5 examples each of living and non-living things. So have human for living things: dog, fish, mango tree, and bird. For non-living things, you have your rock, water, air, table, and chair. Okay. So these are the questions that you can use to revise. And with these, it can give you a clear understanding of the concept of living things and non-living things. Okay. So living things, they have life in them. Non-living things do not have life in them. Okay. So thank you for watching this video to this point. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends, your classmates about my channel so they can come and subscribe and watch and learn with you. So you don't have to learn alone. Learn with your friends. All right. See you next time. Thank you.